Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of the SHU Student-Athlete Sit Down series. My name is Dan Gardella. Thrilled to be joined by a rising senior on the Sacred Heart men's golf team, Saptak Talwar. And Saptak, thanks so much for joining me. We talked before we started recording. You're still in Bridgeport. Just talk about what you've been doing during this time and what you've been doing to try and stay in shape.
It all happened so fast. I was thinking about going back home to India, but with travel restrictions and everything, my parents weren't comfortable with me going back, so decided to stay here at an off-campus house. Very fortunate to have some of our athletic trainers sending us at home workouts, but because obviously no access to gyms and everything. Kind of been doing some of those. I started running just around the neighborhood and stuff. Apart from that, I just started golf again 10 days ago or so. So just getting back into the swing of things as the summer sets in, but very fortunate to have access to a golf course because Sacred Heart owns our home course, Great River Golf Club. So, but I mean, I'd like to say very fortunate in terms of this scenario, um, have access to everything I need. So.
And through your first 3 years at Sacred Heart, you've just racked up the accomplishments. I mean, you start off your freshman year, you're an NEC individual champion. You're going to play in the NEC or the NCAA regionals. You're picking up conference honors left and right. I want to focus more on your freshman year. You're at the top of the top. You win the NEC. How do you take an accomplishment like that just in your first year of competing, and you have to look at it and say, well, there's still room to improve?
So it's very interesting. I was didn't have two 3-round tournament, didn't really have two good rounds, but put together a good final round and kind of snuck away with a win there. So obviously on top of everything there, heading into regionals, but I didn't play particularly well at regionals. And obviously at regionals you have players from everywhere in the country, all the top teams and everything. And not playing well there was kind of a humbling experience per se. Um, so worked hard over summer, had a good summer, came into the fall, and I actually had an injury heading into the fall and somewhere in end of August. Um, so somehow I decided to play through it and then have surgery at the end of fall. So I had surgery after that. But I mean, freshman year was such a good experience. We had 4 seniors in our team who kind of led us through everything. And with the being an international student, it was a tough transition. But having those leaders and having some of the performances that I did, it was kind of had me uh, have a good foundation at Sacred Heart. So I was very fortunate in that sense.
I want to stick with the transition you had. You obviously said you're from India. You come over to Sacred Heart to play golf. Walk us through that transition? What is it like to go from India to Bridgeport, Connecticut?
So very interesting. So my junior and senior year of high school, I did at a golf academy in Bluffton, South Carolina, which is southernmost tip of South Carolina. We're almost in Georgia, and that was kind of my stepping stone into recruitment. Um, that's how I landed myself at Sacred Heart. And the toughest part of the transition into Connecticut has been the weather. The coldest it gets in India is maybe talking like 43, 44 degrees Fahrenheit. And if you get a 43, 44 degree Fahrenheit day here in the winter, you consider it a good day. So, so that has definitely been a change. Still getting used to it. Can't say I'm a big fan of the cold, but still getting used to it. It's been a good journey so far.
When did you make the purchase to get the big winter coat? How early into your freshman year?
Um, the conference win was actually wait. Um, it wasn't freshman year, to be honest with you.
So
It
you went
wasn't
through all the first winter of freshman year. You went without a winter jacket.
without a winter coat. And my dad kept telling me, "You gotta buy a winter coat. You gotta buy a winter coat." And I was like, I just like when it's that cold, I'm not leaving the house. I'm not leaving out. I lived in Ronk, and I did not leave. And one day, I think it was sophomore year, I lived at Pioneer Gardens, and October, one of these days, it was way too cold in October, and I was like, I have to get this. The entire winter is still left, and it was in October sophomore year, I believe, that I actually got a winter coat. Best investment I've ever made.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Well, let's move back to golf. For the golf season, you compete in the fall and then you compete in the spring. Well, this spring, we've obviously had so many different circumstances going on, and you guys were just about to start the spring season. Where were you, and what was the conversation like when your coach had to bring you all in and tell you that you guys would not be competing in the spring?
So we were actually one of the few golf teams that happened to get one tournament in the spring season, because our spring break happened to fall a week before the first case was in Connecticut. So our tournament was on the Monday, Tuesday, and we were down in Daytona Beach, Florida. We finished our first round on Monday, and we heard rumors from our friends up at school saying that, oh, like school might be online, and just kind of shrugged it off, like, nah, it's not gonna happen. And then we finished our second round Tuesday, and we're getting ready to pack up, go to the airport, and next thing you know, coach is telling us like, oh, like it's actually getting serious. We have our first case in Connecticut, and who knows where we go from here. So landed, everything, all that happened. Had one classes and everything Wednesday, and Wednesday night, coach sends us a text that, you know, it's getting serious. Like, who knows what decision the NCAA will take, but I want you guys to be prepared for anything. So Thursday we actually go practice, and you know, we're all trying to stay positive in considering the situation. So we practice and everything, and on the drive back, we're just like, who knows? This could have been our last practice for all we know. And unfortunately, it was the last practice of the season. We came back, and that same afternoon, I think NCAA decided to cancel all spring sports. So unfortunate ending, but I'm one of the very few teams to actually start the spring. So
Yeah, and we in golf, it's such an individual. You know, you always look at one. You know how you do, and the Sacred Heart men's golf team is a small bunch, 8 members on the team. You know, how do you find a way to make it a team game and encourage your teammates and kind of have that unique bond with your other golfers when you're still focusing on trying to do the best that you can do?
so I was very lost freshman year, to be honest with you. I had no idea, because the only team sport I had was like back in middle school I used to play soccer. But apart from that, I never played any team sports. Golf was all I really did. And freshman year, we had a group of leaders that kind of like, we would play team games and practices and qualifying and everything to kind of incorporate a sense of camaraderie per se. So that kind of put me started things off for me in a team perspective. And then from there on, it's just a learning experience. So we play team games and practices where whether it's two people a team or 3 people a team, it's just something to know, something bigger you're playing for as a preparation per se. But other than that, it's so much fun to travel with 4 other people as opposed to you yourself going to a tournament the other side of the country. So
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Saptak, thanks so much for joining me. Best of luck in your off-season training, and can't wait to see what you'll accomplish next year.
thanks so much for having me.